Hi, everybody. I'm Mel Dore, the Aloha Shirt Psychic, and we're live. I should say on our channel because we alternate weeks, but I got Kevin Chandler. So it's Thursdays with Kevin and Mel.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Good to be here.
Actually, I did a video a couple hours ago because Linda Grindle and I were going to do our Monday show, but she had problems with her internet and kept freezing and took her a couple days to get it fixed. So it's kind of unusual for me. That hers was pre-recorded earlier tonight, but kind of unusual for me to do two in one day. And I changed shirts.
Okay.
I'm getting into stuff I haven't gotten into for a couple years. So there we go.
There you go.
All
Can I
right.
say before we start, real quick, I want to just thank everyone for all the love and prayers for my dog George. It's been a rough couple days. I feel a little depleted, but we're gonna do our best. But it was definitely a miracle that happened. Um, you know, it was hard, but I'm just so thankful and grateful for him having a good turnaround. So, and I want to
We've
thank
been
everyone.
talking to Kevin over the past couple of days, and a few days ago, we didn't think that George would make it.
No.
And his creatinine was really high, and his blood urea nitrogen was off the charts, which kind of meant his kidneys were shutting down. But he made a comeback, and I'm sure Kevin and I were talking before the show.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it was all the healing energy everybody sent, and Kevin, the Reiki you did on him. Tell him about what happened when you did the Reiki on the dog.
It was really well. He was really not doing good. He was unconscious and not really responding to us calling his name or even like his sight. I was trying to get his attention, and his breath was just starting to get really shallow. So I was sending him some Reiki. It was really interesting the first time because this happened twice. I almost feel like his soul energy was like connected to the body, but like hovering over it. Because over like in the aura space, it kind of felt like um, static electricity on my hands a little bit, and like pins and needles. It felt really kind of weird. Um, but so he was unresponsive, and his breaths were just getting really shallow and almost, um, stopping. And then he just woke up out of it and started moving around, and then that happened again, and so I was sending the Reiki again, and he just kind of woke up. So really interesting. Not to say that I think the Reiki may have helped him. I don't think it
I'm
would
sure it did.
necessarily. I don't think it would necessarily stop somebody from dying if it was their time. But clearly,
No,
he has some fighting to do.
but it did help, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And
And all the prayers and love.
oh, totally. I'm convinced of that. So I know I sent him lots of prayers and healing energy.
Yeah.
And I saw him before the show. He's such a cutie. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I just love animals.
That's my baby. I've had him for 11 years, my first dog, and definitely the strongest bond I've had with an animal. So very, very hard few days, but
And listen,
feeling better.
energy to all those animals on the island and people on the island of Maui
Yeah.
who have lost their homes through those horrible fires, and also the people in Portugal. But anybody that donates money tonight, I will donate it to the people on the island of Maui.
Yeah.
All right. If you'd like to donate, you can go to www.Hawaii Community Foundation. That's www.Hawaii Hawaii Community COMMUNITY Foundation.org/Maui MAUI strong. So it's www.hawaiicommunityfoundation.org/Maui-strong. And when we're done, I'll put it below so
In the description box.
you can see it. So anything that people donate, I'm going to just tonight I'll give it to the Hawaii Community Foundation. They're legitimate. They do great work on the islands. So let's take a moment of silence to send them our prayers and healing.
Yeah.
you know, I was talking to my friend Jade White Ali Ali on the island of Kauai, and this was before the fire started. It was a couple days ago, and she called me by my Hawaiian name, Li'i. Li'i Pu o Keakua. It means little flower spirit. She goes, Li'i, I was talking to my daughter, and she said Hurricane Nora, I think, or is it Dora? I forget. It's hitting like 700 miles away, but we're getting wind gusts here, like 60, 70 miles an hour. And she said, I was telling my daughter, hold on, let me find. And she said, I was telling my daughter, I don't get a good feeling with it. And she said, but Ma, the hurricane's so far away. But Jade texted me and said, I felt it, saw it, knew it. I said, Dora is bringing destruction to our islands.
All that wind.
Well, it wasn't the wind. Well, it wasn't the wind. It was the Maui's dry anyway in certain areas. So, they get wildfires. But now what happens is you've got you've got tailwinds from a hurricane 600 or 700 miles away that's causing these gusts 60, 70, 80 miles an hour. What does that do with the fire? It just spreads it. And so my friend Jade was right. And Linda Grindle said she saw a town destroyed due to fire. So anyway, it's really sad because there's really nothing left of old Lahaina town on Front Street. It was historic. All those old buildings are all gone.
Yeah, heartbreaking.
And I just found out that, I did a show with Linda earlier today. But when, the last count was 36 people dead. Now it's up to 53. And I just pray that there's no more loss of life.
Yeah, that was my first thought when I saw it on the news today too, as I felt like it was going to go up a little bit.
Okay. So anyway, there's how you donate. And any monies that we take in tonight, I will donate to the people of Maui.
Yeah.
Okay. So Deborah DiPietro asked about a woman who flipped out on a plane, which she saw. I didn't hear about it, so I don't really know what happened. So I don't know how to answer it.
Yeah, I hadn't heard anything of that either. So.
Okay, so butterflies are free. Are we having a lot of COVID late September, early October? I'm supposed to fly for vacation for the first time in 5 years. Well, butterflies are free. My advice is take your vacation.
Yeah. I don't see it being, I do feel like there is a little bit of like a uprising in the case amount, but I don't see it anything like it was, a year ago or the year before. It doesn't seem like things are closed down or, like there's travel restrictions. I'm not sensing that at all.
Yeah, I don't see it as being like, like the other outbreaks were. If you're nervous about taking a vacation, if you're on an airplane, wear a mask. But I mean, I take your trip. My feeling is you'll be safe. I'm going to Italy in October. I'm going to San Francisco in September. So I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, but I'm not picking up it getting bad like the last outbreaks. It doesn't seem like that to me. I do feel like a slight increase, but I've been hearing, people around me getting it through the summer too. Not like huge amounts, but people catching it here or there. So it's definitely not completely gone, but
I just don't think it'll be as severe.
I agree.
Okay. Michelle Bolden, well, she said I won't put it up, but she said she watched, I won't mention the name, somebody do a video and they made it sound ominous. And are we headed for a total meltdown disaster? Well, I see a lot more inclement weather and a lot more fires and flooding and hurricanes, but I don't see like a total meltdown. The answer is no.
Yeah.
What scares me more is climate change, but my guides are telling me that we really need to get a grip on it and speak up. And that's what we can do and send the message that there is climate change and we really need to do something about it. But, when I was in Africa and Uganda, there are places, like I said before, where there's no electricity, there's no running water, there's no refrigeration. And they collect water in cisterns and they drink that water. We didn't because we don't have the immunity they do. But I was commenting on water, and one of the guys said, "Water is life." So when we would brush our teeth, we would use bottled water. You can't use the tap water.
Mm.
You just use a little bit, and you had to conserve it because they only give you 2 or 3 bottles of that a day, so you had to really conserve.
Mm-hmm.
But when I got home, and when I used to shave, I'd leave the water running or take a long shower.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, I'm not going to do that because water is life and we need to conserve that. So, and that reduces our dependence for energy. So, some of the things we can do to help climate change is use less water, turn lights off
Mm.
if you're not using them. Turn your thermostat up in the summer a notch or two. Make your house 75 instead of 73. In the winter, keep it at 69 or 70. Things like that. So there
Mm-hmm.
are things that we can do. And so I don't see it as being, the apocalypse that people are making it out to be.
Well, was it in regard to weather being apocalyptic, or what was it in regards to?
I don't know. It just
Yeah.
said that's
I do feel, and I said it for a while, September feels a little heavy for me, and I do think that it's probably weather related. You know, hurricane season starts to really ramp up then, and the Atlantic's so hot right now. But I do feel like some flooding, but it doesn't feel like it's it feels like it's unfortunate, and there's some devastation, but it doesn't feel apocalyptic to
yeah,
me.
I don't feel it as apocalyptic. I mean, not I think she's talking about a total meltdown of everything, and I
Mm,
don't see that.
yeah.
Um, okay, so Desiree for Maui asked, is there any way to donate clothes or items that people might need? I think they're taking perishable food items like water and stuff like that. But go on that website I mentioned, www.hawaiicommunityfoundation.org/Maui-strong, and they will tell you.
Mm,
All right. But the issue is getting it there.
yeah. Can I just click on something real quick? Karen says,
Go ahead, just click on it. You don't have to ask, just do it.
she says they're now talking of a new strain for COVID. I believe they have a vaccine that covers it. Yeah, and maybe that's why I'm not feeling like it doesn't. When I was saying, it felt like, um, like earlier on this year, like us kind of moving away from, um, an actual pandemic, and people being okay with it. The strains getting a little bit more milder, so and better medicine for it. So
It is a new strain of COVID. I heard that, but I don't think it's going to create the issues like some of the other
I
strains
agree.
did. And so I'm just not worried about it. I mean, if I
Mhm.
worry about it, then go right ahead, but I'm not worried about it. All right. Let's see. What do we have here? Dora Romero. Thank you. How's that?
Well, thank you. If anybody has any political or current event questions, go ahead and write them in all caps, with a couple emojis if you can, and I'll get as many started as I can. We only have a couple started right now.
Yeah, we are answering questions. I forgot to mention that.
That's okay. But we're
Uh,
doing political and current events tonight.
um, um, Nancy Robbins asked, this is a good question, actually. I like that. Hi, Kevin and Mel. You make my Thursdays. Thank you.
Thank
Maui
you.
death tolls up to 56. Oh, up to 56. I thought it was 53. Wondering if Biden will send Obama to be an envoy to Hawaii, his birthplace. I keep having this vision. I do see Obama visiting Hawaii. I think he is from the island of Maui, born there, if I'm not mistaken.
Mhm.
But I feel like his family is safe. And I do see him taking a trip there. I don't know if it's an envoy sent by Biden or not, but
Yeah.
more like a goodwill ambassador. So that's what I pick up. What do you think,
Yeah,
Kevin?
I agree. It does feel like I do feel like he's going to make a trip there, and maybe it's um, with everything going on right now. I don't know if Envoy is resonating with me either, but I definitely see him making a trip there, and helping with fundraising, and rebuilding and all of that. That resonates.
Um, yeah, that's what I pick up. Okay.
Hmm.
Um, all right. Let's see. I'm just scrolling through everything. Here we go. Desiree said, well, things in Florida get better. It seems like every day there's a new craziness by just saying, didn't he remove the attorney general or something? put a Republican in? I just heard that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it was the state attorney general. I think somebody around Orlando he removed.
Well, if that goes to court and goes to the Supreme Court's going to say he just can't willy-nilly take somebody out of office and put in a member of the opposition party. And what I picked up on that was, and you can tell me if you agree or disagree, Kevin.
Yeah.
My guide showed me that attorney general was maybe investigating some shenanigans, or going to investigate some shenanigans, or threatened to that DeSatan pulled, and DeSatan got wind of it, and that's why he removed her.
Oh.
That's what my guide showed me.
That would not surprise me at all. Yeah, and I agree with you. When I heard of it, I haven't really been watching the news a whole lot this week, but when I heard of it, it kind of reminded me of those congressmen from Tennessee that were removed but just got reelected. Like, I felt like she was going to, it was all going to work out and either get that seat back or voted back in. But I do feel like unfortunately, I feel like Florida it's having a tough time for a little while. There's been all the storms and DeSantis really kind of running that place to the ground. The energy's tough and heavy in Florida for the next year or two.
Well, I foresee a lot of people, taking him to court and going to the Supreme Court about you can't say gay, you can't have certain books, you can't do this, you can't do that, and they're going to win.
Yeah.
Here in Illinois, there's passing an initiative now that is going to be illegal to remove books from schools and libraries. And I heard somebody on the radio today say it's very simple. If you don't want to read the book, don't check it out.
Right. Well, it's the same thing with women's right. If you don't agree on abortion, don't have an abortion. If you don't believe in gay marriage, don't have a gay marriage. It's you can't restrict other people for making their own decisions or respecting their own body and healthcare. It's just crazy.
Well, what I see at some point is an end to this American apartheid. In other words, this MAGA group of ultra supposed pseudo, I call them, right-wing Christian nationalists, trying to push their views down our throats, and these crazy politicians catering to them because the politicians want to stay in power. At some point, I see an end to that. It's going to take a while, but it will end.
I mean, look, I'm from Ohio. We just had that.
I know.
Congratulations. Yes. I said it all along. I did not feel like that was going to pass, but it really just shows, the Republicans have a supermajority in the state Congress, and they know that their agenda is not popular, so they have to think of any way to try to pass their agenda. And I do feel like they have a couple more tricks up their sleeves.
I said that too. I said that today with Linda. I said the exact same words.
It feels like they have another plan or two, but I feel like it's failing. I really feel like people coming out to vote, and I think especially a lot of women and young people for the women's health care issue.
Well, I think the reason the Republicans put that on the ballot, that 60% thing, is because right now it has to be 51% in Ohio, and they're putting the women's right issue on the ballot in November.
Right.
And, I think that's women's right to choose, or within so many weeks to get an abortion. And I see them winning, not the Republicans. I see the pro-choice winning.
Yep.
And so that's why the Republicans tried to change it to get to have 60% of the vote. But you're right. My guys told me this too. There's a couple, 2 or 3 more things up their sleeve they'll try, but it's going to blow up in their faces.
It's going to turn. I think it's going to shift Ohio to be more in the middle.
That's what I see. That's exactly.
I think the next election, presidential election, the president may still be Republican, but we have an important Senate election here in 2024 with Sherrod Brown. I feel good about his chances of being reelected. So it feels like things are really kind
I
of more
was
in the
listening.
middle.
I was listening to that on the news today, and I really got a good feeling that Sherrod Brown's going to win. I see a
Yeah,
win.
I do too.
CC Ryder says the right and far right are winning elections around the world. By immigrant propaganda, they plan to roll back climate change, and this is, will the right lose power in the future globally? I think they already are.
Mm,
I mean, look what just happened in Ohio.
yeah. Though it has been going around the world. A lot of it's, Russia and other foreign countries interfering with elections. I mean, you had the far right candidate in Italy, I think, win, and the one running against Macron in France. And uh, I feel like Canada, there's a lot of shift to more of the far right. I mean, it's going on globally.
It is
Um,
Russian interference. You're right.
yeah, and a lot of it's interference and um, I think it makes it hard when, people can just post whatever, fake news or, um, not informed news on social media. It doesn't really help with calming that down. So I do feel like it's getting better, but it's kind of like a shift.
Well, I think also, if Russia can kind of tell these people under the table or influence it, like create anarchy, create dissension, the D's that we talked about, right? Deceive,
Hmm.
divert, detract, distract, divide, um,
Destroyed.
destroy.
Yeah.
That's what they want, because what they do is they cause people to suspend their critical thinking, and people are just going on emotion and playing on xenophobia. But at some point, I see people coming back to their senses. Not all, but the majority of us here don't like this ultra right wing crap.
Right. Yep.
So
And
I
it's going to be, you know, I think especially with what's going on in the Republican Party between now and 2024, a lot of people are going to be incentivized to vote, and a lot of people that are independent are. I feel like a lot of people are really turned off by the Republican Party. As I've said, I feel like it imploding, and but it's going to, I think it's going to do us very well in 2024 and following elections.
You said that all along.
Yeah.
All right. Jay Roberts, what do you say for the Texas weather? When do you start? Well, I see it coming down a little bit within the next week to week and a half, but it's still going to be hotter than the blazes, but more tolerable.
Okay.
But still, even record high
It's
temperatures.
still going to be really hot, I think.
Correct. And you know what? Texas is going to get hit with some inclement, really cold weather and ice storms and things like that this winter. And so,
I see it really stressing their power grid system.
correct.
I've been saying that.
Well, and Governor Goof down there is not doing anything about it.
Mm,
Right.
yeah.
But
It feels a bit tough in Texas. Um, yeah, with the heat, and I do feel like there's some flooding too. Um, and I agree. This winter feels like it's a bit tough in Texas.
right, that's what I pick up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Will Grassley ever be called out, indicted for his eager participation in fake electoral scheme for January the 6th? Constant Campbell wants to know. What do you think, Kevin?
I'm going to throw a couple cards on Grassley. I feel yes. I'll tell you, I think he was just up for re-election in 2022, and he had the absolute worst cards I think I've ever seen for somebody. So I definitely feel like some trouble heading his way. But I'll throw a couple cards on Grassley.
Well, I see him getting a sudden shock from bad news.
Mm-hmm.
So while you're pulling cards, I do think he's going to be called out for what happened on January the 6th. And I see him under investigation.
Yeah.
And I see him charged, but with more misdemeanor minor stuff than the rest of them. But I do see charges filed against him.
Yeah. You know what? I agree with that, Mel. I'm almost wondering though. I don't feel like I mean, he's a dinosaur in his age too. Um, so I think that there is some concerns with the health. I feel like justice coming is coming out eventually, because he's got justice, the tower, high priestess. So it's like explosive secrets and wanting justice. But I almost feel like he's either sick or there's some health issues there where he's not necessarily in the picture anymore. If that makes sense too. Whether he's in Congress or he's still on our planet.
I picked up justice, justice, justice. That kept hitting me. Um, and I do see dark clouds all around him, which you're right, that would indicate illness. But that's not going to excuse him for the shenanigans that he's pulled for entertainment purposes only.
I think it's heart related.
What I
was picking up.
I picked up chest, so
chest, yeah.
All right. Okay. NH Mountain Dancer says, "Oh hi, he's got a wave." Jack just got the Twitter docs at 45 used during his White House years. Will this help convince people that he was deep in the January 6th conspiracy? Well, Trump's base is Trump's base, but a lot of people who might have been questioning, a lot of people who were wishy-washy, it's convincing all of us that everything we knew, but it's really going to look bad for Trump. I think once he's convicted, hint, hint, and he will be, I don't know if he'll do jail. It might be house arrest, or I don't know. Maybe they'll tether him somewhere.
I've always kind of felt like a medical facility or like a military
tether him somewhere, right?
Something isolated.
Right. I'm thinking, people that might have been for him and, just crawl away. But Trump, when he's opening his mouth about Fani, excuse me, I'm sorry, I burp a lot. That was horrible. I apologize. When he whatever can happen does. It's because of the eating.
Yeah.
But anyway, he's saying things about Fani now. And I want to say something. The judge that they're going to get in Georgia is not going to put up with any shenanigans from Donald Trump. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. Go ahead, Mel. I'm sorry.
Well, I saw more charges coming against him from the DC judge, Kushkin. I can't think of her name. And she's going to sternly tell him not to do this and to stop threatening witnesses. If you come after me, I'm coming after you, blah, blah, blah. That's not freedom of speech. Freedom of speech does not give someone the right to intimidate or to tamper with witnesses or to engage in, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not conspiracy, but maybe obstruction of justice. I saw more charges coming against Trump from DC, and I've got a funny feeling it's going to be at least 3 contempt of court charges.
I could see it. And she's not playing around either.
No.
I said that when they announced her as the judge, I just felt like, if anybody's going to put a gag order on him, I feel like it would be her. And I felt like sanctions. I feel like, she's definitely going to be very stern with Trump and tell him that he's got to stop it. I don't think he's going to stop it. Trump likes to push the envelope. I don't think he can help himself. And I think he really wants to incite his base too.
He does.
In regards to Georgia, I did get a hit, I think last week. I feel like there's a little bit of trouble in Georgia with protesting. Like it feels like there's a bit of a scare there. It doesn't feel like it turns into anything, or I'm not feeling like like anything bad happening with Fani, or I feel like the protections under is a big priority down there. But it does feel like there's something it doesn't feel quite right with Georgia in that instance, and maybe that's why you're picking up the judges really hard on Trump too, because of him inciting violence and getting people worked up.
Well, when you said that, my light bulb went on, and I think that there's going to be some people that are planning violence against some
Mhm.
of the witnesses, the jurors, the
Yeah,
judge, and that's going to be uncovered by the FBI. And
yeah, a lot of that is.
people will end up going to jail as well. So, but Trump knows exactly what he's doing, and he's doing this on purpose. He really is.
Yeah.
It's like it's almost middle finger to the court. And I see two more of his lawyers leaving. So,
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Yeah, it seems like, I could see that for sure. They've kind of had enough with it. Trump doesn't listen to what they say anyway, and they're just like, I've done all that I can do. It's time to find somebody else.
um, Sherry Voices from the Swamp is in the house. Hi, Sherry. We
Very
got let's the three of us do a collab at some point.
sounds good.
All right. Uh, let's see. Okay. Will Tommy Tuberville be called out for not living in Alabama? Looks like he lives in Florida.
Oh, I hadn't heard that.
I wonder what happened. I wonder what happened if if a member of another political party did that.
Mm. Well, you almost had it with Dr. Oz running in Pennsylvania, even though he didn't live there. He lived in New Jersey. I don't know. I'm not feeling it though. Maybe he's called out, but I don't see him being removed or anything,
Well,
unfortunately.
they are going to say though that he's got to have a residence in Alabama. He can't do both.
Right. And I
So,
think that there's a plan for that if it does get called out, but I don't see him being removed because of that, unfortunately.
uh, okay. Oh, Karima says Obama was born on Oahu. He went to Puna House School. Okay.
Okay.
Well, I do see him visiting. I do see him visiting Maui. Okay, so Sonny Valeria says, yes, that DeSatan fired the attorney general that was elected.
Okay.
And I see that attorney general going to court, even as high as the Supreme Court. And I'm saying you cannot remove an elected official just because you decide you want to. It
Yeah.
has to go through a due process. But I am telling you, Kevin, I know, like I know my own name, my guides tell me, she was looking into the shenanigans of DeSatan.
Well, we know that there's a lot of underhanded stuff going on with him in Florida. We've been saying that for years.
That's what I think too. So anyway, all righty.
Well, and you think about it too. Um, I've always said I felt like DeSantis interfered in that whole what's his name from Congress. That's Matt Gaetz investigation with in Florida with Greenberg, I think was his name,
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
trafficking stuff or underage, yeah. And I felt like he kind of was involved or hindering that, and maybe that's what he was trying to get rid of her about. I don't know.
Oh, here's something from Sherry. I like this. She said it's going to be bad in Texas too. They didn't use the money from federal government to repair the power grid, which that might be misappropriation of funds.
Mm.
So I
Yeah,
see it as
I see that getting a bit tricky too with their government and their collapsing infrastructure. I feel like that there is definitely like there's money getting poured um, into the infrastructure. I think they're kind of like on their own um, grid, if I remember correctly. Like they're kind of independent with it, and I feel like maybe it's even like joining another one that's already there to kind of build on that infrastructure. But there's definitely a lot of money going into that and upgrades.
CC Ryder said that Bannon's going to Spain to get their prime minister elected. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
Italy, they change governments every year anyway. But I see Bannon in jail at some point. So
Oh yeah.
he's going to be under indictment too. He's not out of the woods.
Well, he's awaiting, I think, sentencing now, and I feel him being indicted for January 6th too.
Um, I've always saw him going to jail.
Hmm.
But in addition to federal, because then he could be pardoned again, I see one of the states indicting him as well.
Okay.
And if it's
Yeah.
state, then the federal government has no jurisdiction to issue a pardon.
Yeah. I'm going to pull this up because CC Ryder says that it wasn't true that that DeSantis on Wednesday suspended Monique Worrell, the state attorney from the Ninth Judicial Circus, accusing her of under prosecuting criminals. So not the attorney general.
I don't know, but I'll have to look it up. But I still don't think you can do it willy-nilly like that.
Yeah. That's definitely going to be fought, and I feel like it's going to go in her favor.
I do too. Mm-hmm. Hi, Rebecca. How are you? I see Rebecca. Okay, I'm scrolling. Let me just go to the starred ones, Kevin.
Yeah, I got some starred.
Okay, that'll be easier.
Thank you, Cece, for clarifying.
Hold on a minute. Let me see. I'm looking to see the ones that give me a second here. Okay, I've answered that. We've answered that. Okay. Give me 1 second. Okay. Here. I'm moving to Arizona, driving from Illinois there on the 31st. Will it be safe with the weather? Well, the weather, make sure you've got an extra set of tires because tires will blow out on that hot pavement. And you know, when you're in Arizona, when it's really hot outside, stay indoors where it's cool. But I don't see any harm coming to you.
Yeah, I do feel like there's some storm systems. I don't know if you're planning on going to like Kansas or in that area, like the plains. It does feel like there's some severe weather. But I do agree with you, Mel. I feel like she's going to be safe.
By the way, Wells, I got the shirt, and I'm going to wear it. I'm going to surprise everybody. I'm not going to say what it is. I'm just going to put it on. All right. I meant to put it on today, but I got home and I left it at the office. So maybe I'll premiere it live next week on Kevin's show. How's that?
Sounds good.
All right. Now Rose sent me this cool shirt. All right. Spiritual Seeker 583. Hello, Mel and Kevin. Hi. Are the churches pushing the right-wing agenda? Yes, and yes. Is that why we're getting bamboozled? Bamboozled, honey. We're getting screwed.
Yeah.
You know,
but all of this, you know, the evangelicals and, you know, like, it's really turning a lot of people off from the Republican Party with them trying to control the abortion or gay rights or, you know, I think even in some instances talking about extremes like banning contraceptive and all of that kind of stuff. It's just crazy. It's turning a lot of people off and, you know, it's making their party look really kind of crazy and out there, not in touch.
Or when does Satan want to pass a law in Florida to make it illegal to circumcise baby?
Right.
I'm like, what? It gets crazy, but you know, I do see we'll get back to let the church run the church and let the state run the state. And I also see some point if the church is going to get political, then I see legislation pass to say, as long as they stay out of politics, they get their tax-free exemption.
Mm-hmm.
They start playing politics, and guess what? They're going to have to pay taxes.
I agree. And it's funny because Sheila Treasure Finder just asked that question, and I was going to say the same thing. And I feel a few of like these mega churches getting hit really, really hard.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Rebecca. Mel, can you repeat again where they give for the Maui?
www.hawaii, HAWAII, community, COMMUNITY, foundation, FOUNDATION.org/Maui, MAUI -strong. That's www.hawaiicommunityfoundation.org/Maui-strong.
And you're going to put that in the description box after the video, yes, right?
Yeah. So, okay, here we go. Okay. Robin Lisa Rosenberg. Hi, Robin Lisa Rosenberg. Hi, Mel and Kevin. Nice to see you both. Same here. I hope to see Jack Smith get a handle on witnesses. Will the Trump kid's adult get punished in court? Well, he's going to get a handle on witnesses through the courts.
Right.
And the Trump kids, Well, I see Don Jr. being in hot water.
Mm-hmm. I agree with Don Jr. I feel like there's some jail time there eventually. I've always felt like Ivanka makes a deal, and I saw like an ankle monitor. So I feel like maybe there's some house arrest, but that's maybe for her cooperating. Eric feels kind of in the mix. I feel like more so with like the Trump org stuff, which I do feel like IRS going after the Trumps for their fraud. So it feels like yes, but not so much with the January 6th stuff with Eric. But yeah, I definitely feel like they're not just getting away scot free.
Good. Somebody's asking, how is Jimmy Carter doing? I think he was
Well,
sick.
yeah, and it's been a while, I think, since they said that he was on hospice.
Yeah, but he's not ready to cross over just yet. He's a man of faith, but
Yeah.
but you know what? He's not a hypocrite, and he has integrity. And in my opinion, that's what a politician should be like.
Mm-hmm.
I know when they asked him about gay marriage, and he said, there's nothing in the New Testament scriptures about it, and therefore let people do what they need to do. So
Yes. I feel a lot of love around him right now, a lot of family around him, really supporting him. I don't know too, and I feel like his wife too maybe doesn't feel like she's in the best health right now too. It might feel like they may cross close together is what I'm kind of.
That's what I think. I mean, I don't think he's ready to cross just yet, but his time is very soon.
Yeah, it's not too far off the
right. Okay. Jay Roberts, they say someone has proof of what Donald Trump and Putin said when Donald Trump was in Russia. I think that, but with Trump, he could use, what's that thing he always falls back on? That the president has certain rights to talk to leaders and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But
what, executive privilege?
Yeah, executive privilege. That's what. Yeah, sorry, I couldn't think of it. I was having a senior moment.
All right.
That might be executive privilege, but I've always seen whistleblowers, plural, coming out of Russia, coming forward with very sensitive information that's going to be totally incriminating to Trump. So yes, it will come out. But Trump's going to say executive privilege. But some of it was clearly those two colluding.
Oh, yeah.
So if they're colluding to cover up something, or to you do this, I'll do that, to keep somebody and to keep Trump in office, that's illegal, I think. And so you can't use executive privilege to cover up a crime. So,
I feel like I agree with exactly everything that you said. I've always felt like the Mueller report coming back out and making a surface. I know that you said that too. I don't know if you're talking about when him and Putin met in Helsinki, like transcripts and stuff like that. I'm not feeling that so much coming out, but it feels like maybe even after Trump is gone is when we're really going to learn the truth of
this when Trump is in Russia, so
with Russia and their collusion to get him in as president. There's definitely a lot more coming out, but maybe after he passes. It's a couple of years, I think.
Well, here's another one that says, is there really proof of what Donald Trump and Putin talked about while Donald Trump was in Russia? Yes, there is.
Yeah.
Thanks, Becky.
Rebecca says, will the Russians come out with the PP tapes?
Will they what?
Will the Russians come out with the PP tapes? You remember that with?
The golden showers.
Yes.
Donald Trump called somebody a cheater. I forget who it was. Oh, that they cheat or they're this or that. I'm thinking he's got a lot of nerve, right?
Right.
Okay. When will the $7.25 an hour in federal? I thought that the minimum wage was more than that.
I don't know. I think. Well, I mean, states can go in too, but I definitely feel like there's an increase in the federal.
So do I.
Wage.
I see it going up.
Absolutely.
Okay.
it's not far off either. Maybe it's even like summer of next year.
So Connie B says, when all the fake electors are charged in all the states, will sedition charges be the nail that shunts Trump's case? I don't think it's just one thing. I think it's numerous things. And Trump being indicted in so many places, and a lot of them in the states, and here again, where he can't be pardoned from the federal government because they don't have jurisdiction over the states like that. So, so I do see the fake electors, all of them being charged. Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. And I agree too. It's not like just one thing's the nail in the coffin for Trump in his cases. There's so many different fronts.
Okay. This is a really good one. Margaret Murphy. Will the Japanese releasing radioactive water from Fukushima damage the ocean? What do you think, Kevin? I know the answer to that.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some issues I feel like with that. But I do feel like there's a big effort and like restoration or cleanup with a lot of that too. That really kind of helps. I don't think it's as catastrophic as it sounds and probably what they're projecting. But yeah, there's definitely some damage. Absolutely.
Here's the way I look at it. If you look at the wildfires that were going on in Canada, and Chicago was blanketed under that smoke for like 5 or 6 days, and it cleared up and it came back. So look how far away that is.
Yeah.
And look how it impacted us here. It's the same with Fukushima. They release that radioactive waste in the open, and it spreads out.
Right.
And so I'm picking up that, I will do some environmental damage. Will it be Armageddon? No. So we have to be really aware that, we do something here and it affects something way over there. So
I agree. I mean, you have the currents pushing it and all of that too. So, but I do feel like there's a lot of investments into cleanup and restoration of the oceans, and I feel like that being a big focus, not too far out in the future.
Okay, I'm just scrolling through here. Do you? I don't know if you started any more, Kevin. I think I answered them all, didn't I?
I just started a couple more. Jay Roberts said that she thinks that Jimmy Carter's waiting on his wife. They'll go together. And I saw somebody else say that I think she has dementia, his wife. Because I was picking up some problems with her too. It feels like they're pretty close with their past.
That's what I think.
It's a really close, like soulmate kind of energy. Like one leaves and the other.
That's what I feel.
Yeah.
They'll cross over very.
Maybe months.
Simultaneously, but one will go first and the other one will go shortly thereafter.
Yeah.
Here, yes, that is right. www.hawaiicommunityfoundation/maui.strong. No, it's not Maui.strong. It's Maui dash. Put a dash between Maui and strong. So no, okay, it's wrong. It's www.hawaiicommunityfoundation.org. You got to put the .org /Maui-strong.
And you're going to put it in the description box after we're done.
Yes, I will.
Just look in there after we're all finished. Thank you so much, Beth.
Okay, let me see. I'm looking at the ones you started. Oh, thanks, Beth. Super sticker. Yay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's see. I don't see any more starred here, so
Is there anything else that you want? Let me ask you something, Mel. Do you out of everybody running on the Republican side for the nominee, do you pick up anybody who you think is going to actually win the primary? It feels very foggy to me. I almost feel like maybe it is Trump and then he's taken out after he gets the nomination, because I feel like the party scrambles to throw somebody else in. But I don't know. The energy feels very murky to pick out one particular person.
I think behind closed doors, there's a lot of middle of the road Republicans talking about how not to let Trump do this.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what I think. Oh, here's a good one. She goes, forget about the mercury in fish. They'll be radioactive.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. This is a good one, Kevin. There have been big rock slides near Chaco Canyon. Is this the Anasazi spirit showing their disdain for oil drilling? We're mad at Deb Holland because she approved it. Oh, I think it's absolutely the spirit showing their anger and disdain. They don't want them disturbed like that.
Yeah, I'm feeling a yes to that too. Well,
all right. Well, this is a good one. Will Biden be safe? I don't see any harm coming to him.
No, I see that being like the top priority. You have to kind of wonder though. I feel like there are plots, but I really feel like the FBI is really on top of it. I mean, you just had that one guy that was just taken out. Who was he going after? Alvin Bragg, and was it Biden?
Yes.
Yeah. So I feel like there's definitely plots, but I feel he's safe. Absolutely.
I think, do we show this one? And here's Beth, thank you. NH Mountain Dancer, yay, thank you. $10. I'm just kind of scroll through here. I had Aiden slow the comments down to 60 seconds because maybe we should speed them back up to 30. How's that?
Do you know how to do that?
No, but I'll have Aiden do it. I don't know how to do it, but
I mean, we're almost at an hour right now anyway. Usually I feel like there's more people watching, so maybe that's why it's a little bit slow today, because maybe there's somebody else on live right now.
The last one that we did, I think we didn't slow it down, and I think 30 seconds would be good, not 60. So I'll just tell at some point Aiden to change it. Dora, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay.
We just got some questions.
Okay, go ahead.
Now that's interesting what Cece says. She says it'll be very interesting at the RNC convention in July to see who receives the delegates needed to secure the nomination. I agree. There's definitely, I definitely feel like the GOP is scrambling and it's a bit chaotic.
I don't know. I just, it's weird. I don't know what the law is, but if he's convicted, then I don't know if he can hold office. I don't know how that works.
I think that they could still vote for him, I think. But I also, it's hard too, because I really wonder about his health. I mean, every time I see him, it just looks like I get, the health is coming up. I get really strong hits about the health not being good every time I see him. He looks worse and worse every time.
I know. Thanks, Carmen. Somebody said, who will win the Women's World Cup? I wish I could answer that, but I don't know.
I don't follow it to even know who's playing, to be completely honest with you.
This is a good observation by Becky. That's 11 months away. A lot more indictment can come down. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're talking about how fickle elections are.
Yeah.
11 months away, and there's going to be a lot happening between.
Oh, yeah.
So everybody buckle up, because it's going to be a wild ride.
I was going to say the same thing, buckle up. So we must be on the same wavelength. Yeah, it's going to be crazy for sure.
Here, this Mountain Dancer, this is good. People will probably still write M45, even if he's on the ballot, but there are states that don't want him on the ballot. I totally agree with that.
It feels like there's so many things that haven't quite been decided, where the energy doesn't feel super clear to me on who's actually going to get it. But I feel like right now, it's more likely Trump. But maybe towards even the end of the primary, like, he's charged, or, the health becomes a big issue or something. But I do feel like the DC case, the January 6th case, is going to be tried. I was feeling like December or like beginning of next year. I think they're asking for January 2nd.
Oh, this judge in Washington has integrity, and she is going to really expedite,
Yep.
the trial. Whereas a loose cannon is going to delay. But at some point, I see loose cannon off the case, and at some point, I mean, she's already screwed up. When she they could easily declare a mistrial, and I think then they have to have another trial because she wouldn't let people in the courtroom, which is illegal, and she's pulled a lot of voters, overreach and all of that. I see her sanctioned. I really do.
Okay. I agree, Mel. I feel like a male coming in after her.
And at some point, I see her off the bench.
Yeah. I definitely think it's appealed and she's taken off the case. And yeah, I've said that too. It feels like she's taken off the bench eventually.
Beth Sachiloto, is Larry Kudlow of Fox News involved in January 6th planning? I don't want to accuse somebody of that, and I'm not going to say yes or no, but what I will say is he's being looked at.
Okay. I think that's telling. I'm not sure who Larry Kudlow is, but I agree with that statement.
For entertainment purposes only.
Yes.
All right. Do we have any more? I don't think we do we? I'm looking
too.
Oh
yeah, and I just heard, wasn't it the last time we talked, you had I think we were talking about McConnell, and you said about Dianne Feinstein, and I heard that she just fell. But I think she's already was back at her home. Like, I don't think she was staying there, but yeah, the health with her's not great either.
Yeah, I see her resigning, stepping down, but I also see McConnell stepping down. So I think McConnell's got some more health issues coming. I mean, as much as I disagree with him, and as much as I don't like his politics, I still see, a lot more health issues coming. And I see another fall. I hope I'm wrong.
I said the same thing when he had his last fall. I feel like McConnell is really dead set on sticking in there. I think his family and those around him are telling him, it's time to, retire. But he's so dead set against it that I think the health is going to be what forces him to step down.
Pixie Dust said, not sure if you noticed, but one of you has a really squeaky door that keeps opening and closing. It's not the door. It's my chair.
I was going to say it's my chair too.
Oh, yeah. Well, we got squeaky chairs.
We have squeaky chairs. Yeah.
Oil. Hello. That's too easy, right? It's my chair, and I rock. It's my habit. Okay, this is really good advice. Jay Roberts, bring in all your animals from the outside. It's hard for them. It's 104 in Texas at 8:00 in the evening. Yes, do not leave animals outside.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Jay Roberts, for posting that.
Yeah.
Do we have a few more, or?
I'm just checking. I've been trying to keep up with the chat.
Will all 7 fake elector states have separate state investigations and subsequent indictments? Yes, but I also think that those people are going to be indicted federally.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. It felt like Jack Smith is already looking in, and with all of the fake electors will be charged federally too. I agree.
All right.
I think that's eventually part of this whole January 6th investigation. I've always said with that too, I feel like it's like steps. It's such a massive investigation. They're going to go after Trump, then those around him, maybe people in Congress, and then it's like it keeps building and building and building.
Madeline James says, hi, Mel and Kevin, I have a question. Do you guys see any positive progress when it comes to interest rates with student loans and mortgages? Well, I mean, the Biden administration tries to forgive a lot of them, and then, a lot of the ultra right no, and it's
a lot of back and forth.
Forgiven is back, it's back and forth, but ultimately, I do see a lot of student loans being forgiven.
I agree, 100%. I've been getting that hit. It felt like there was several challenges to it, but eventually there was going to be relief with that. And I do feel like too, the interest rates coming down for the student loans, the mortgages is, I think they're really trying to slow down to get the inflation under handle right now, slow down the with raising the rates, but I do feel like it kind of steadying and going back down into next year. It feels like by next summer, um, the homes are more affordable, and I think the interest rates are a little bit lower than what they're at right now.
Good. Okay. Jay Sharish, I can't pronounce the name. Hi, love to see you both. Thank you. Do you see Pakistan breaking up?
I'm feeling yes, but I feel like it's a while out there. I'm not feeling it anytime soon.
I think what I think will happen is they'll be close to like splitting, but then they won't. But if they're going to split, it's like it's like maybe 14 or 15 years from now. So
yeah, it's a while out there.
Right.
I'm seeing it kind of split in half is what I'm saying.
All right.
But it's a while.
Margaret Murphy, is the Tasmanian tiger really extinct? They killed them off and nobody's had a sighting since the 1930s. I'm hearing they're not really extinct. There's some living, but they're so isolated. It's almost like the fish, the coelacanth. They thought it was extinct for millions of years. And then I think it was in the 1920s or 30s, a fisherman caught one. And they're like, wow, that's supposed to have been extinct. So, I've read about the Tasmanian tiger and it said what they did to it, but I still feel, some are stuffed, but I still feel a few living. What do you think, Kevin?
Yeah, and you know what though too, what I was kind of picking up with that too, is I feel like, even if they're not around right now, I feel like cloning and trying to bring back some extinct animals is definitely something we're going to see not too far out there in the future. So I do feel like if I was feeling like yes, like to agree with you, but I do feel like even cloning them too to try to
It's funny. I think that up too, but you have to have a viable DNA sample to be able to clone. And I'm sure that there's Tasmanian tigers that are stuffed somewhere. And I don't know enough about DNA extraction to know if they could get it from a hair. But
I'm feeling like they'll be able to do it eventually.
Good. Okay. Gail Swift Fernandez says if you buy a shirt from these people, they know they donate 20% of purchase to Maui Restoration.
Thank you for sharing, Gail.
All right, let's. Well, I think we're probably at an hour, right? So,
Yeah.
Kevin, if they, Yogi, this is cute. Dinosaurs aren't extinct; humans are still around.
Right.
Politicians are still around. I like that, Yogi.
Right.
Oh, here's a good one. I keep saying, here's a good one.
Do you see Trump's trials for January 6th televised?
He wants it to be, but I don't see it.
I was saying I wasn't feeling it televised either, but I definitely felt a lot of energy and push to make it televised. And Trump saying, and his attorneys saying that they want it televised is all bravado, because darn well if they were going to actually allow it, his attorneys would be appealing it very quickly, trying to stop it.
I think she'll allow reporters in the courtroom with no cameras, so they have to have sketch artists. That's what I see.
Yeah, it's really a shame because it really should. He's running for president. There should be some kind of accountability, and people should be able to see that. But I think what they would have to do is they would need approval from the Supreme Court, and I don't know.
See, here's where we can respectfully disagree. Trump wants it televised, so he can say, you see what they did. But if there's no cameras in the courtroom, you just got police sketch artists, and you got reporters in the courtroom. Guess what? It's hard for him to twist and turn that, isn't it?
Well, do you think his attorneys want it televised? If he has to, take the stand or anything, we all know that he always makes things a million times worse. And
but he can use that to say they're picking on me, they're doing this, they're doing that. He wants the attention. And what I see coming is a lot less attention paid to Trump. Wouldn't it be great if we had just 7 days free of not hearing anything about Donald Trump?
Right.
If nobody listened to his poison, he wouldn't have a platform.
Yeah. Yeah. And he really kind of gets off on any kind of attention, good or bad. Right. It's free publicity for him.
Exactly. Okay. I like this one. This one's good. I wonder why we don't have a Gen X president. Ha ha ha. I wish I could be a president, but the younger voters seem not to want Biden and Trump because they are too old. Well, I don't know. You got to be 35 to be president, but at some point we will have a Gen X president.
Yeah.
So, no, that's
And
not.
I really see a lot of focus in, maybe even like term limits, and I feel like younger, especially with the Democratic Party, feels like a lot of younger people in leadership positions and kind of a transition to a more younger progressive Democratic Party, which I think will be good because um, the younger Democrats aren't going to put up with they'll play fire with the Republicans. They're not going to just ignore it and not give energy to it. No, they'll fight back, and that's really what
they're going to grow a huge set.
Yeah.
Okay, this is it. Connie B, what do Ivanka, Don Jr., and Eric think of their dad being in legal jeopardy? They don't seem to be around. I think they've been told to keep their mouths shut. That's what I think.
Yeah. Yeah, they should. That's pretty telling. I mean, even his wife isn't around when he's being arraigned.
CC said the GOP does not want to televise, but I think Trump does. But I still see reporters in the courtroom taking notes, and I see police, the sketch artist. So
yeah, it feels like there's some compromise. Like we'll definitely be knowing what's going on there, but maybe it's a transcript. Like
here we go. I didn't know that. Jay Cat Lady says federal courts are never televised. Only civil courts could be televised. There you go.
I believe Roberts from the Supreme Court would need to sign off on it to be televised. And I understand Cece says it needs to be televised. Truth needs to be told, and that's spun by Fox. I agree with you 100%, but I don't know. It doesn't. I wasn't picking up it being televised, unfortunately.
This is good. Maybe you'll get a Sharpie, laugh out loud, doodles for sale.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay. On that happy note, we answered a lot of questions tonight, huh, Kevin?
We did.
All right. So, Kevin, how do they get a hold of you?
Well, if anybody would like a reading or Reiki service, you can send me an email at kevinlovingvibrations@gmail.com. I've gotten a little backed up with everything going on this week, but tomorrow I'm gonna I have some people to reschedule and some people that reached out that I'll be getting back at. So just be patient with me. But kevinlovingvibrations with an S @gmail.com.
All right, and go over to Kevin's channel.
Yes, please subscribe. Help get me to 9,000.
And subscribe. When I get to 20,000, we're having a 20,000 party.
I'll be here.
You got it. You're the first. And I'm going to give away 3 free Aloha shirts to my members, and 3 free sessions and a discount. I'm going to give my members discount on sessions as well.
Oh, nice.
So if you haven't joined, subscribe, please. But if you join, that's a monthly fee, but members get perks. And I'm going to start answering individual questions, or doing something for members. If you get a lot of members, you can't answer everybody, but I'll see it in the chat, and I'll pull a card, and I'll have collabs with that for members. So there you go.
I had a members going on for a little bit when it was getting a little bit hard with my niece, but yeah, I did like a weekly. We did different stuff weekly, so for extra content.
Well, I mean, you had a lot going on, and I haven't answered a lot of emails. I've been remiss because I was off almost a month with cancer, with cancer, but due to all of this, and but I'm getting back in the swing of things. My throat's still a little sore. I noticed a little spot. It's not cancer. It's just, I think, with healing. So I'm seeing Dr. Wednesday. But anyway, here I am. Here we are, and thank you so much for watching.
Yes, thank you. Next week, my channel.
Next week, your channel.
Perfect.
All righty.
Bye, everyone.